Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of New Life. Mr. Janu,
Yes, ma'am.
it has been a busy week for you.
Hey, man, it don't stop. I keep going. Energizer Bunny, you know?
I know.
Hmm.
This week you had a lot of traveling that took place, and actually around your mom's birthday. So this is what made it so special because you actually had an opportunity to go to Louisiana.
Well, I went back home.
Hmm.
Yeah, I went back home for a little bit. I stopped home and to check on my brother, see how he was doing. He was in the hospital. I just wanted to lay eyes on him. I was going to surprise him. And, he didn't know I was there. But, of course, I told one brother, Rock, and of course you can't. Whenever you tell Rock, everybody know in my family. When you tell Rock don't say something, he's gonna say it. So you might as well. Whenever you say, "Hey Rock, man, I'm coming out," don't say something. He'll be like, "Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna tell nobody." He's gonna tell everybody. So that was spoiled. Not spoiled, but I guess I got to sit down with my brother Rick and kick it with him for a little bit. Go to see him and make sure he was all right. He was had an episode at the hospital and stuff, but he was all right. Joker took off to Vegas after that, so. He was all right. He got in, got out. Us Janus, we pop up like toast. We pop back up like toast. We go down and we come back up. And another thing, I was while I was there, I had a chance to do some research and stuff like that. And as I was researching, I had a family friend was telling me about this place called the American Cancer Society Hope Center, a Hope Lodge,
Hmm.
actually. And I had a chance to go and visit that, and it was on a Sunday actually.
Okay.
And, I was supposed to come home Tuesday. I was scheduled to come back home Tuesday, but I got in touch. I guess it was God. He spoke to me. He said when we was riding in the past, and we saw it, and he said stop in, and when he speak, I move. So when I did that, I went in and I spoke to the people, and I got in contact with who I need to get in contact with. This beautiful lady named Miss Jordan down there. She's the assistant director of the Hope Center. Hope Lodge down in New Orleans, and I also, while waiting for her to call me back, that was a Sunday. He gave her my number. She wasn't in that day. Well, she was in, but she just left. It was like 5 in the evening. And I don't know why I was stopping. God just told me to stop in, so I stopped in and told him who I was. Asked could I tell my story, share my story with the other, you know, guest in the house or whatever in the lodge, and they agreed. And well, she called me back actually Monday. But I called her Monday morning, and they told me she was gonna call me back, and she did. And while God is amazing, man, He's done so many good things for me, man. Not only that, we talked about it, and she informed me that they had a lot of hope houses in Georgia. Well, not in Georgia, but all around the United States. I'm sorry. She says like 30 of them, and I said, of course, I would be able to speak at all of them if you need me to be. She said that she would go so far as to put in the word for me or whatever, so I can do that. And I spoke to Miss Babs Williams, and I got to speak Wednesday coming up, right? Is it Wednesday?
Hmm.
At the graduation ceremony at the Hope Lodge in Decatur, Georgia, which is right outside Atlanta. So I'm blessed to be getting those opportunities and stuff like that. So it was it was pretty awesome. And then well, actually finished that off. She called me back. Jordan called me back, and had me asked me was I leaving anytime soon, and I said yeah, I was scheduled to leave Tuesday. And she said, you know what, I have somebody, I have a group that comes in the afternoon. If you were able to hang around and speak to them, I'll be more than happy. And I said absolutely. So I pushed my flight back, and instead of leaving Tuesday, I left Wednesday morning. I got an early flight Wednesday morning, but I stayed Tuesday to talk to them. But I didn't realize, in speaking, when I spoke to them, it did me so much joy to see how receptive they were, and with the message that I was delivering. I didn't know how it was. I was a little bit nervous, a little bit, but it went really well, man. And to that point, when I finally reached my room, when I reached back to after I gave a speech, met with the individuals, met with Jordan, everybody. It was a beautiful time, beautiful experience. Can't wait to go back and talk to them again and check on some of the guys that I talked to uh, after my speech, during Q&A session or whatever. But I also realized after I said I got back to my room, and as I sat back and I realized, I said, hey man, something special about today. And I realized it was my mother's birthday. My mother's been deceased now since 2007. And yeah, it was just so happened that it was an eerie thing that, I'm just down in the city. I'm back home in the city.
Hmm.
And I'm speaking to people actually giving my speech to my first speech at the American Cancer Society on my mother's birthday. So that was kind of special to me in a nutshell, and I didn't even know it. And it just showed that how God works behind the scenes and how He orchestrates and order my steps and stuff like that. But yeah, that was about it, man. I came back home, flew back home Wednesday, and relaxed, and now I'm preparing to go and knock this one out next week, the graduation ceremony at the Hope Lodge in Decatur, Georgia, for the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge there. So I'm looking forward to that and other things that we got coming up. We got a lot of other things coming up too. So we got a lot of things in the fire. We'll fill you in on that at a later date. And that's about it.
So let's talk about this speech. I mean, you were able to give this speech at Hope Lodge. What were some key things that stood out to you?
The key thing that stood out to me was how many people are actually battling the disease. You know what I mean? Like really, really battling the disease. It's like I had at least I would say a good 17, 18, 19 people that came out and gave their time to even listen to what I was saying. But the Hope Lodge houses, I would think 30 families, I think it is, something like that. And you can come in and see them and stuff, and it's always full vacancy and stuff like that. You could travel 40 miles away if you have a procedure, and you have to stay in the city where you have to have your procedure at, because there's an MD Anderson clinic there now too. And if you travel, if you're coming from 40 miles and you can stay as long as you need to. But I mean, people stay 100 days, 77 days, 30 days, a week, whatever it is, and it's an amazing facility, man. And I just met some amazing people there. And my speech was just what it always is about perseverance and hope and never giving up and staying determined and keeping your mind on the target, and that is survival and beating this thing. So, yeah, that's about it.
And one of the things regarding the speech that I want people to understand is that you spoke about a winning attitude. So when we talk about a winning attitude, how does one get a winning attitude? Like, how do I develop that?
Actually, it's just never giving up. Just no matter how hard. So in life, things are going to be hard, right? Automatically, things are going to be hard, but it gets better. And that's my thing. I was trying to reiterate to them that on the other side, if they just stay the course, and I know it's hard, and like I explained to them also, it's going to be some of the hardest things that they've ever done. It's going to be the hardest thing that they've ever done in their life, with the chemo treatments and the picking and poking and the running back and forth to the doctor treatments, and this goes. You have good days, you have bad days, you have good doctor visits, and then you have bad doctor visits. You have good news one week, you have bad news the other week. But if it's a storm, and if with anything, if you just stayed anchored in the storm and you just stay the course, it gets greater, it gets better. And that's what I was trying to let them see and understand, judging the case of my situation, what I came through, like we always would say, with the 1% survival rate, with the stage 4, with everything, coming in the unknown, uncharted territory. We never visited that area before, that place before, but once we got on those waters, we navigated that ship and we steered it in the right way, and everybody stayed positive and stayed focused on what the task was at hand. And we believed in the program. We bought into the program, and we stayed the course, man. We just stayed the course. And it was nothing spectacular. It was nothing outlandish. I just did exactly what the doctors told me to do, and I, re-solidified my faith in God and leaned on Him for everything and trust the people that He put around me, and and we went for it. It was hit or miss with us. It was that swing for the fences.
So it sounds like when you develop a winning attitude, it's just making the decision to not quit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Even when the days, I'm telling you, it's gonna be days when you just say, "F it, I won't give up. I don't want to do this no more. Just take me now." But if you just hold on, if you just pushed and you hold on, and you really, really, in your heart and in your mind, make up the decision to keep going, one more step, one more try, one more day, one more breath. You know what I'm saying? Everything is one more. Everything is one more. What's the next thing? You know what I mean? Remember when I asked her, I said, well, what's the next step? Even I was on my second chemo treatment, and I'm asking her, what's this next step after we beat this? She looked at me like I was crazy. Remember that? I'm talking about the nurse practitioner.
I remember.
She looked at me like I was crazy. Like, how are you even asking me something like that? This is only your second chemo treatment, and you're in the valley, and you can barely hold your head up, and you can barely move around, and you asking me what's after this. So my mind was already fixed on a victory. I didn't even before we started. I told you when we was in Savannah when I got my port, and I told you I said, man, we're gonna beat this. I said, you was looking at me, you was like, you can't move, oh, you so frail. You was looking at me like you was so.
Be very clear, audience.
What your feelings was.
That now, so developing a winning attitude is also having winners around you. So we have discussions that are serious, but you still persevere forward. Okay.
Yeah, I had
All
winners.
right.
I mean, God surrounded me with winners. He didn't have, ain't no losers. Shoot. I had winners, man. Everybody wins. I had hitters on my team, man. It was God placed the hitters in my life. I had Big Head over here. I had Big Head behind the camera. He was, what you doing, Dad? What you doing? Let me see your face. I'm like, man, get out of here. But nah, I had you on my ear. Every time, I want to do something that I'm not supposed to do, and so I had the support. I had Lexi, I had Chuck, I had Mom Lou, I had Rick, Rock, of course, I had Tanya, uh, Tanya Piton. Yeah, she was around. Uh
Which is also symbolic of the Hope House or the Hope Lodge,
huh.
because that's exactly what it is. From my understanding, it allows families to come in
Absolutely,
and they
absolutely.
surround this particular patient, and that is the hope that's given to them
And not only the
to
families,
persevere.
you have other families that come
Hmm.
around, and you can hear. I mean, from all over, from all
So you
different walks
created a
of life.
village.
So basically, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's a village. They created a village, and they have the nice gentlemen. Everybody there volunteers. Well, they have some people on staff, but most of them they have volunteers to take them to their appointments and to chemo treatments, which is so important. That's so important that you have somebody in your corner that can take you to your appointments. Because luckily, if you can't get to your appointments and you can't get back home, that means that's it.
I
So,
think that that's one of the biggest things too, is making sure that you have someone to take you that doesn't mind doing so.
oh,
That's actually supportive of the transition.
absolutely, man. And like I said, I can't thank you enough during my time. I mean, every chemo appointment, I think you was there. I think no, you missed. No, you never missed the chemo. You never missed the chemo. Oh, no, you never missed the chemo. So yeah, every chemo appointment I had, yeah, you took me to them. Yeah, so I thank you for that. And that was a tremendous responsibility. All those early mornings and those late evenings, man. That was the cold. Oh man, Jesus Christ, man, it was so cold out there. God have mercy. I remember you had to put automatic start on your car just so we could beat this cold weather out here. It was brutal out there, man. It was Jesus Christ. I remember having to take a shower at 5:30 in the morning. Well, 5 in the morning to get and leave. What 5:30, 6 o'clock? You have to leave just to make it to the hospital about 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. And then coming back through, being there 8 hours and being, hopefully 8 hours with no conflict, which very rarely happened. But yeah, man, that was just blessed, man. That's why I look back at it and I thank God for everything, man. Like, I thank Him for it all, man. I think for the good, the bad, everything. I wouldn't change a thing, and that's why I tried to get them. I showed them my scars. I gave them my story and let them know, man. This is what it looks like on the other side. Is it gonna be hell? Absolutely. Is it gonna be the toughest thing you ever did? You better believe it.
And the other thing, I was sitting here looking at the logo of New Life, and that is exactly what you're sharing.
hmm
During your chemo treatment, Janu Strong is the thing that continued to just manifest itself.
Show them it's on your own. It's on your own.
Yes,
You didn't
it
even know it.
is.
You didn't
No.
even know it.
Oh, I knew it.
Show that too.
I knew. But that is Janu Strong. It's the arm, and the phoenix represents what? Could you explain that to us?
Well, the strength, Janu Strong, that means everything to me. Like, it means the core of who we are and the core of who my father and his brothers and his father and his lineage, my great grandfather and everybody has passed down to us, man. And it's just that something that is in us, man. It ain't on you, it's in you. You know what I'm saying? It's just something. It's grit, determination, intestinal fortitude. Keep swinging. Never stop it. And what this symbolizes is the strength. Janu, The new life thing is like a phoenix rising out of the ashes, because cancer literally burned me to the ground. I had nothing left to give once like I was saying before, I had nothing left to give. After my surgery and after they took everything out and did everything and the chemo treatments and the infusions and the doctor visits, I literally had nothing left to give. I was literally a corpse for a year. And once that year passed and I couldn't go to the restroom, I couldn't wash myself, I couldn't do nothing. You know what I mean? After that year passed, I felt depleted, I felt defeated, but my mind didn't, my body was. So long as my mind was working, my body could stay where it was. My body was like in a comatose state for almost a year, without being able to do anything or single up or get up or nothing. So what I did was I rebuilt my mind first. My mind was already strong, but I had to rebuild it. And I had to listen to myself, take one step at a time, take this at a time, move one foot, take one foot to step, wash a little bit, lift an arm up, wash this, do stuff like that. And that symbolizes, let's go back to this, it's like rising from the ashes. Once you deplete, I felt like it was nothing, it was ashes. And as I started to get stronger, I felt like a man reborn, you know what I mean? And renewed, so to speak. And that's where this comes from. And my strength increased and everything came back. And not only did I come back better than I ever was and restored better than I've ever been, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm better than I ever been, and I feel like I have a birthday in a couple of weeks and I'm headed into that, and I feel great, man. I feel phenomenal, to be honest with you. And it's like I said, man, it's just like the phoenix rising out the ashes, the strength, and just the joy. And we soaring, man. And we soaring to new heights and new lives. And we got a couple things, man, that's in store for a lot of people. And we're going to help a lot of people. We're going to help them get over this disease. And it's not only with cancer, it's with anything you're going through. Sickle cell, diabetes, life situations you may overcome, tragedies or whatever, and you may feel like giving up and things are too hard for you. It's just anything, man. If you just stay the course, man, people give up so easily, and that's the enemy's trick, to trick your mind to get you to whereas you're not worthy enough. And I had a guy say that to me, and I had to let him know. Even with the speech, he said, Eric, man, he said, I thank God for you because I was feeling unworthy. He said, your speech tonight helped me. He said, it makes me want to fight. You gave me the will and the skill to keep fighting. You know what I'm saying? And I said, hey, man, I'm just imparting to you what God imparted on me. You're worthy. You're more than worthy. You're here. So why are you not worthy? You're still here. If you weren't worthy, you wouldn't be here. You know, God kept you around for a reason, and I had to explain that to him and get that point across to him, and he received it. And he has my personal phone number, and I think he's going to be okay. And I told him once if he needs anything, he can call me anytime, morning, noon, and night. And yeah, and I had a good visit with him, and along with other people as well. And many people feel in that same way or in that same vein. And after I spoke to him, I kind of like give him a little hope. I don't know how long it lasts, but if it just sparked him for that minute or just for that second or just for that day, my job is done. And I think I put him on, I put him on the right path to not giving up and stuff like that. And I told him I was going to check on him, periodically just to make sure that they keep fighting, man, and not give up. So yeah, I got a relationship with those guys now. So that was pretty cool.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
New Life for Life.
For life.